The other area where time is used on GCSE papers is when you're working with speed and the relationship between speed, distance and time. And the reason for that is immediately apparent with this example. If you're writing 4 hours and 15 minutes as a decimal time, if you're not thinking about it, you just write that. And that is wrong. Because 15 minutes, if you stop and think about it, you would say more often, I won't see you in 15 minutes, I'll see you in a quarter of an hour. And a quarter, as a decimal, is 0.25. So 4 hours 15 minutes is actually 4.25. So you have to be careful. If you're on a paper 2, we're back to the time button, and if we write 4 hours 15 minutes, that gives it in time, and then if you press it again, it'll turn it into a decimal for you. So 4 hours 15 minutes, 4.25. Okay, so then we come to the little triangle, which you will be familiar with probably from science. It's how they like to give you formulas in science. So speed, distance, time, you cover up what you're trying to find. So if you want to work out a distance, it would be speed times time. If you wanted to work out a speed, it would be distance divided by time. If you wanted to find the time, distance divided by speed. But the time is a decimal value, not your hours and minutes. If you can't remember the order of the letters, because that's really important, if you think about speed, you tend to be given it in miles per hour. When you use the word per, it means like that, because sometimes you write it or see it like that. M/h, miles per hour, distance over time. So speed, miles is distance, time, h, hours. So that's another way of remembering or making sure you're getting the letters in the right order. So, paper 2, calculator OK. What is 3 hours 12 minutes in hours? So, most common answer, which would be wrong, would be that one, but because we know about our cool time button, I know I'm going to write 3 hours 12 minutes equals, press the time button again, 3.2. The first 40 miles of a journey took 1 hour and 15 minutes. The remaining 80 miles were completed in 2 hours 15 minutes. Calculate the average speed of a 120-mile journey. So average speed would be the total distance over the total time. The total distance is 120 miles. The total time is 3 hours and 30 minutes. And you should be thinking, hang on, 30 minutes, that's half an hour, 3.5. On your calculator, we can bang that in exactly as we see it. 120 over 3 hours 30 minutes. So we either put it in using time or we turn it into a decimal, which is an easy one to do, it's 3.5. Either way, check that, 120 divided by 3.5, 34.3 miles per hour. So 120 over 3 hours and 30 minutes. Glenda plans to drive from Flint to Cardiff. On a long journey, her average speed is usually 42 miles per hour. Last time she drove from Flint to Cardiff, it took her 3.5 hours. use this information to calculate the distance. So the distance is speed times time. So the distance is the speed times the time taken, which will be 42 times, and they made it easier this time, they're giving it us as a fraction of the hour rather than 3 hours 30. So how far is it? 42 times 3.5, 147 miles. Give a possible reason why your answer in A is only an estimate. Well, it's only an estimate. We're working with an average speed, and the conditions of the journey might have been very different in that particular one. So you could say things like poor weather. She may have stopped. She could have started and finished in different places in Flint and Cardiff. Okay, so anything like that is basically going to satisfy that particular question. So there you go, that's average speed and time.